Pretty cool coincidence happened the other day. I had made a video after Alex Jones had been deplatformed, but I was talking about sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, in response to the excuse being that Jones was using hate speech. And it took me back to the Pink Conspiracy. You'll see it in the video. Anyway, after I did the video, I was like, man, did I come off? You know, because sometimes you never know how it's going to come off to the audience because you can't really see you the way other people see you. So I was like, man, I don't even know if I should put this out. Anyway, that night, after I had recorded it to my car, I went out to dinner, and then I was driving back, and I use on YouTube, I have YouTube Red. So in order to not use my cell plan, I just download a bunch of videos that I want to view or really listen to in my car when I'm on road trips. And I saw that Brian from London Real had recently had Dan Pena on again. And I was like, oh, great. It's nothing better than Dan Pena and Brian. I forgot his last name, but from London Real. When the little dynamic that they have, so I was like, okay, let me see what Pena's got to say. It's a really good series. He's got a lot of cool stuff to say. But anyway, as I'm driving home, Pena says,
you can't hurt, sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt you. That's what the saying was when I was maybe 1 to 15.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So that let me know. I was like, okay, cool. I'm in the flow. I'm connected to the Pena. But that little coincidence, I call it a synchronistic event. You may see things as coincidences, but everything's a synchronistic event. And for myself, sometimes I get little signs. A sign.
And he's a sign that people want someone to give it to him
He's
real.
a sign.
And that let me know that it should be okay to make this to present this video. Nothing I'm saying here is mind-blowing. It's stuff that hopefully you learned in the 80s and 90s when you were growing up, or 50s and 60s if you're older. But I'm not sure if this is presented to people born after, I don't know, 1998. So here goes the video, and check the synchronicity. Same day. This wasn't even like a week later. I didn't see the Pena video beforehand. I made my video in the car. I was driving, and then once I checked into the hotel, I went out to dinner. On my drive back to the hotel, I hear Pena say all this. If you ever saw my Pink Conspiracy video, I talked about the man that told me about the Pink Conspiracy, but he also said that there's going to come a time when you're not going to be allowed to offend people anymore. And that part, at the time period, seemed preposterous to me. This is in like 92. Because I couldn't imagine how somebody could be offended by something you say. Because back then, if you said something like, oh, that offends me, someone would deck you in the face. They'd like actually start saying it 50 times more. If you said you offend me, you were basically asking for the harassment to be amplified by a magnitude of about 5, if not 10. And we all sang the song in elementary school, preschool, and not really middle school, but in preschool and elementary. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. What happened to that? What happened to sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me? How could there be hate speech and offending people? That is whatever. It's politics agenda. But if you have kids, do they sing that anymore? Do they say sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me? And that's what came in my head when the guy told me about that. Yeah, in the future you're not going to be allowed to offend people. Again, first I thought of anybody saying something like that, just having sand thrown in their face, or being decked in the mouth, or being like Mike Singletary tackled for even thinking that saying that offends me is acceptable. Almost like saying you offend me would be, it's the equivalent of being a quarterback with no offensive line and a defensive line just getting ready to sack the daylights out of you. You offend me is like saying, hut! And the whole team, just imagine 11 dudes jumping on you. You offend me. I don't know, maybe I'm glorifying an era of bullying. I don't know. But it just seemed preposterous that being offensive would be accepted. To say, I'm offended, and now you're in trouble because you offended me. So I don't even want to like talk on this stupid topic to even approach it. My agenda in this video is to put back in your mind that phrase, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So next time somebody says they're offended, or what they're really doing is having fake outrage, that's another word I want to put in your mind, fake outrage. Next time someone acts all outraged and offended, just say they're fake outrage. You're fake news. You're fake outrage and you're fake offended. Because I'm offended every single day, all day, every day by everything CNN and MSNBC says. It's colossally offensive. I want to reach through the TV. So they offend me all the time. That's okay. But we can't offend. I mean, I don't offend people. I don't know. Maybe I do. I bet you I do. I don't know. I try not to be offensive. Not because of any hate speech crimes, but I just don't like to piss people off. Although I like to provide the awful truth to those that seek it and those that request it. I don't go around shoving the awful truth down people's throats. But if they open the door, oh, I make sure to step in. And in fact, sometimes they might try. So long as that door open, that foot is in there. Oh, nope, you open the door. We're going to discuss a bunch of pink elephants now. The pink elephant is, well, really, it's the memory hole that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
You can't hurt. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt you. That's what the saying was when I was maybe 1 to 15.
And they got us to forget that phrase. Because again, when the guy told me that's the real thing, I was like, man, how could anybody be offended? We were trained to not be offended with that slogan, that phrase. And I'm trying to be mind control-ish by repeating it over and over again. Sticks and stones may break my bones. Oh yeah. But words will never hurt me. Words will never hurt me. And you know, we said that so many times, and then I remember we had this like exercise. I don't remember. It was in middle school. And this is the stuff that drives me nuts. All like kids, guys, boys, always act like they're tough and they're hard and they're tough guys. But everybody acts like they're the toughest, baddest dude. And I got so many examples of these things. But we had this game. It wasn't a game. It was like this thing we did in class where we all sat in circles and we were instructed to say mean and nasty things about people to show what it feels like when people say mean. And, oh, you know what? This must have been the beginning of this whole offensive thing. Although I thought it was a conditioning thing to make us stronger. So we all went in this circle and people were saying all these mean, nasty things about each other. And anything somebody said to me, it was like completely bouncing off because I was properly conditioned for sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So I figured, I'm like, I guess they're training us. They're testing the slogan to make sure that we fully comprehend it. And I did. So whatever. I'm like, hey, say whatever you want about me. Because sticks and stones. And then we get around, gets to this one tough guy, and everybody's saying all this bad stuff about him in a circle, in a controlled environment. I mean, we're just doing a play. We're not even doing anything real. And the dude starts bawling out crying. I almost wondered if it was a setup, if like before we did the exercises, the teacher asked this guy to cry. Because this is the kind of guy that would have beat you up if you said you're offended. And then this dude starts crying, and I'm like thinking, wait a minute, bro. I thought you were some tough guy. And we're in a controlled...
Use the left lane to take a slight left turn onto Jetport Drive.
We're in a controlled situation where everybody's just making this stuff up. Anyway, actually, a lot of people, I guess, were finally taking shots when they were given permission to. But, yeah, the dude starts crying, and I'm like... this is the other part, too. If it wasn't a controlled situation...
Take a slight left turn, then keep right onto Jetport Drive.
If it wasn't a controlled situation and people started talking all that smack and you started crying, like if it was a bunch of dudes and you started crying about it, we would have dumped on you. Like, that would have just been, you would have just been asking for more. And, but because it was a controlled situation.
Use the right lane to keep right onto Jetport Drive.
But because it was a controlled situation, everybody.
In 1 mile, turn left onto Tradeport Drive.
Everybody felt pity for the dude. And it was passable and it was acceptable. And it was like, forever after that day, you couldn't say anything mean to people. Now, I'm not saying we want to say mean things to people. That's not nice to say mean things, but I'm saying something changed. And maybe
stay in the right lane.
And maybe it was for the better. I mean, you know, but I think if people don't get it out, I don't know. I guess what I'm mad about is when it's social engineering and we're not all aware of the social engineering. Like, anytime social engineering is going on, I feel like there's got to be disclosure about it. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words, they will never hurt me. And just remember that. And think back on that phrase if you're my age. I get, and I'm realizing now, I have a great example of what I'm talking about, of people saying, oh, I'm offended. You ever see the movie Judgment Night? Dennis Leary and Jeremy Piven. So there's a scene where Jeremy Piven, Cuba Gooding, and Emilio Estevez are lost in Dennis Leary's hood, and he's got him like kind of like kidnapped. And Jeremy Piven's trying to explain himself, and he says something. He like opens his mouth, and Dennis Leary goes, "Shut the fuck up! You speak when fucking spoken to, okay? Where you guys from? Yeah, this is my fucking world." And I understood Dennis Leary's, I don't even, what do you call that now? I mean, he's a bad dude, but the reality is, and this takes me back to preschool. In preschool, in the sandbox, whoever could win the fight, I don't know what it's like now, but, and when I was in preschool in the very early 80s, like 81, if there was a disagreement, it was settled by fighting. It wasn't settled by talking it out and figuring out who was right and who was wrong. It was who can fight and who can't. And whoever won the fight, that's who was right. Fight meant right. They keep saying that might doesn't make right, but in my experience, it did. I remember, you know, being in fights in preschool and having the teachers, take me and the person that was fighting saying, you know, that fight doesn't make right. And the dude's looking at me and I'm looking at the dude and he's kind of like, yeah, right. You gonna believe this? You gonna believe this freaking lady? And I'm like, hey, bro, I mean, we were fighting out there, but now we're trying to stay out of trouble with the school here. And we just thought it was such, BS. It was like, in fact, I remember thinking, if only that was true. If only that was true. If only fight didn't mean right. Because as soon as I wonder if the teachers actually believe that. Because as soon as the teacher was gone, I was like, oh, we're gonna find out who was right, huh? And the fight, as soon as the teacher was gone, the fight would re-ensue. I don't know what it's like now. I don't know if people don't fight anymore. I don't know if people actually talk. I mean, it'd be nice if people actually talk things out and don't fight. But that's not how I remember it.
Who's right and who's wrong? That's how we used to settle who's right and who's wrong. The guy that's standing over the guy that's on the ground. And a lot of times I got the shit kicked out of me.
I remember might being right. As unfortunate as that is, but to deny that, you can't deny that out of existence. I wish you could. And that's what it like seems like, is people want to deny harsh realities out of existence. And I'm not promoting might being right. I'm not the strongest. I'm not even in the top. I'm not ready to fight people for being right. I love debating. But I know that in my debates, a lot of the ones that I have on the internet or over the phone, if they were in person, they wouldn't end in somebody hanging up or someone leaving the keyboard. they would all end up in throwing down. And I'm not saying that that's a cool thing. I'm just saying that's a real thing. But if it's not, and that's the other part too, is like most people don't want to get into arguments. I love getting into arguments. Actually, you know what? I've been in a lot of face-to-face arguments, and we end up screaming. You know, with people, there's like, I have a lot of friends that we argue and yell at each other at the top of our lungs, and we're still friends. And in fact, I mean, there's many times when we could scream at the top of our lungs at each other, and then, all right, let's go into the movies. It's good to have that. Most people, though, they fear raising your voice. They really fear raising your voice. Now, I played sports. The coaches were always yelling at us. Like, that was the way you train guys, is you yell. Come on, let's do it. You know, and then I would try to coach kids that weren't conditioned to being yelled at by coaches, and I'd yell at them, and they would freeze, and they would be shocked, and they'd be scared. And I'm like, dude, has no one ever raised their voice to you? I'm not mad at you. I'm just trying to motivate you. And it would freeze them, or it would upset them, or they'd start crying. And this is like later on. This is like way later. This is way after that little exercise. And I'm thinking, what did we do? You can't even yell at people anymore? You can't raise your voice? I like raising my voice when the time is right. And in a lot of sporting situations, raising your voice and being loud is part of the whole thing. So I don't know. Can't raise your voice. Can't offend people. And this is another thing I noticed. This one, you want to know what really offends me? That I'm never going to be able to say this offends me, except maybe if the world hears this, is vague generalities. There are so many people that speak in vague generalities. Well, today's the day after Alex Jones got removed from YouTube, Facebook, and wherever else, Spotify. It's like I don't even want to put their names out there. But the funny thing is, I've been an info warrior since 2001. I used to subscribe to PrisonPlanet.tv way back in the day, and I remember when he first put his videos onto YouTube, I thought it was crazy. I was like, man, you have your own subscription platform. You're your own man with Prison Planet, which also gave you a free subscription to InfoWars. Like, InfoWars and Prison Planet were both subscription. Actually, one was free, one you had to pay. PrisonPlanet.tv. It's been a while, but that was like where it was at. And a lot of people think that Jones just came on the scene with Donald Trump, but man, Jones's show wasn't even a right-wing conservative show. It used to be a libertarian show, and it used to be about gold and silver. I'm just saying, hey, I'll go back to paying for a PrisonPlanet.tv subscription. It's funny how things have changed. Everyone's like on social media, but about 10 years ago, nobody wanted to be on the internet. Maybe it was a little longer. Maybe, yeah, about 10 to 12 years ago, people used to say, yo, if you took their picture or they were in a video, they're like, yo, don't post it on the internet. Now everybody just puts everything on the net. So I thought it was just strange when I felt like it was the right thing for Jones to do at the time. I mean, his YouTube platform was huge, and it got him to a much larger audience, especially from the suggested videos. But anyway, the solution is, the right needs to make its own video platform to replace YouTube, so that they can't censor. It's such a whiny liberal thing to whine about YouTube or Facebook and their policies. That's their company. If you guys ever watch Bill Cooper, there's a video of him in Lansing, Michigan. You should see it. And he's yelling at the audience. He's like, quit whining. Quit your whining.
You want to be on the radio? Do it. But stop whining. Stop bitching. Stop complaining. That guy that owns the press, that's his press. He can do with it what he wants. He doesn't owe you anything. That's America. You know what's wonderful about America? You can have a press. I have a press. How many of you have seen my newspaper? That newspaper's no joke. It makes congressmen cringe when they see it.
You're mad at CNN? Well, whoever owns CNN, that's his show. Make your own show. And this is back in the 90s, so he's like, I have my own newspaper. It's called Veritas. I have my own radio show. It's called The Hour of Our Time. And I make my own videos. And I have an audience. And they're dangerously informed. But he was saying, if you're whining about someone else's platform, then you're being like the liberals. You're being a whiner. Start your own. I'm not saying Alex Jones is whining. Alex Jones had his own platform. PrisonPlanet.tv and InfoWars. So this is not the end of the... Well, the censorship is... And you need to be on YouTube because the average person doesn't hunt for information. They need to stumble upon it. That's what the benefit of YouTube was that people could stumble upon Alex Jones, other than, you know, having to know about Prison Planet by word of mouth. So this is not the end of the world. Before YouTube, this is how we used to do things. We used to have websites that we hosted. It's like we've all become so dependent on Facebook and YouTube and other sources. All I'm saying is maybe we got to go back to doing our own thing, but we definitely should have our own platform. Not YouTube. It should be, I was going to say RedTube for like red states, but I think RedTube is already taken. But you know what I'm saying? Our own platform, and then exodus off of YouTube. But then again, the whole point of being on YouTube is to attract not yet like-minded people. It's stupid preaching to the choir. Like, I went to see Dinesh D'Souza's movie, Death of a Nation. I'm just like, yeah, I know dittos. I mean, what is this? Like, I don't need to know. I already know this. But that film to somebody that's never been confronted with that information before would be a real eye-opener. Same with Alex Jones. Sometimes I'm watching Into the Jones Show and I'm like, I already know this. But it's for the new people.
So now I'm going to give you a beat down for you beating up Dan.
So all this stuff prepared you for who you are.
Correct.
And you think we're missing it in today's culture?
I don't think, I know we're missing it.